You'll never make $10,000 a month as a student until you understand this. This is Hamza. He's in his final year of university, waking up at 6 a.m. for lectures, pulling all-nighters before exams, and still barely scraping by on pocket money from his parents. He's told the same thing every student is told: study hard, get good grades, get a good job, and eventually the money will come. His reward, according to a recent graduate survey, is a starting job offer of around $500 a month in most developing economies, a mountain of tuition debt in others, and constant anxiety about whether his degree will even be relevant by the time he graduates. So if Hamza is doing everything right and still can't see a path to real money, surely it's impossible for a student to make serious income, right? Not even close. This is Zoya. She's the same age as Hamza, still enrolled in university, still attending her classes, but she also brings in more than $10,000 a month. She didn't inherit money, she didn't drop out, she didn't get lucky. Like Hamza, she started with nothing, but somewhere along the way she stopped following the standard path and started paying attention to something most students never even think about. And it's not just Zoya. There's a growing number of students just like her, sitting in the same lecture halls as everyone else, quietly making more money than most working adults. So what are these students doing differently, and how can you actually do it too? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how a student, with no capital, no experience, and no connections, can realistically build a $10,000 a month income while still in school. Stick with me, because this is going to change how you think about the next few years of your life. Let me be clear about something first. I'm not telling you to drop out. I'm not telling you that university is a waste of time. If you want a stable, traditional career path, that's a completely valid choice. But if you want financial freedom while you're still young, if you want to graduate with money in the bank instead of debt around your neck, then what I'm about to show you is the fastest route to get there. Everyone online is obsessed with grades, internships, and CVs when they should be obsessed with something called talent matching, because the worst advice any student has ever been given is to spend your limited time and energy fixing your weaknesses instead of doubling down on what you're naturally good at. Your school forces this on you constantly. If you're bad at math, they push you into extra tuition. If you hate public speaking, they force you onto a stage anyway. If you're weak in a subject, you're told to grind harder at exactly the thing you dislike the most. This system treats every student the same, and it quietly destroys natural talent in the process. One well-known study on divergent thinking found that almost all 5-year-olds test at genius level for original thinking, but by the time those same people are adults, only a tiny fraction still do. That's not because people lose talent, it's because the system trains it out of them, year after year, assignment after assignment. So before you say, "I don't have any special talent," I want you to look at what I call the student talent tree, because whether you're a science student, an art student, a business student, or someone who barely passes but is glued to their phone all day, you fit into one of 4 categories. Note down which one feels most like you, because by the end of this video, that's going to decide exactly which path to $10,000 a month makes the most sense for you. The first type is the organizer. These are the students who color code their notes, who never miss a deadline, who instinctively bring order to messy situations. If your friends always ask you to plan the group project, you're an organizer. The second type is the analyst. These are the students who are naturally curious about why things work, who enjoy spotting patterns, who can look at a messy spreadsheet or a confusing problem and calmly break it down into something simple. The third type is the communicator. These are the students who can talk to anyone, who somehow always get people on their side, who could sell water to a fish if they had to. If people naturally listen when you speak, you're a communicator. The fourth type is the creative. These are the students who see things differently, who get bored easily with the normal way of doing something, who are always sketching, filming, writing, or designing something on the side, even if nobody asked them to. Now that you know your type, make a promise to yourself right now that you are only going to build your student income around the type where you already have a natural edge. Trying to force yourself into the wrong lane is exactly why most students give up on making money online within a few weeks. The fastest way for a student to make $10,000 a month is not through crypto, not through get-rich-quick trading apps, and not through some random side hustle you saw in a Reels video. It's through selling a digital service to real businesses. But you will never get close to that income unless the service you offer does at least one of 3 things: makes a business more money, saves a business time, or saves a business money. That's the entire game. So let's go through 5 services any student can start this month, based on your talent type. And remember, none of these need you to already be an expert. They just need you to start. The first service is content editing. Every business owner, every small brand, every local shop now needs consistent content, but almost none of them know how to edit it themselves. If you can take raw phone footage and turn it into a clean, scroll-stopping video, you are directly helping that business grow its audience and its sales. This is perfect for the creative student because you naturally understand pacing, timing, and what looks good on screen. But it also suits the analyst, because the best editors study what actually performs instead of just what looks nice. The second service is social media management. Small businesses know they need to be on social media, but the owner is usually too busy running the actual business to post consistently. If you can manage their content calendar, write captions, and reply to comments and messages, you are saving that business time every single day, and time saved for a business owner is money saved. This suits the organizer perfectly, because it's all about consistency, scheduling, and structure. But the communicator will also do incredibly well here, since a huge part of social media is engaging with an audience in a way that feels human. The third service is AI-powered admin support. This is exploding right now, and almost no student is capitalizing on it yet. Small businesses are drowning in repetitive admin work, replying to the same customer questions, organizing bookings, writing the same emails over and over. If you learn to set up simple AI tools that automate these repetitive tasks, you are saving a business both time and money at once, which are 2 of our 3 golden rules in a single service. This is ideal for the analyst, who enjoys spotting inefficiencies, and for the organizer, who enjoys building clean, repeatable systems. The fourth service is freelance writing and copywriting. Every business with a website, an email list, or a product description needs words that actually convert visitors into customers. If you can write clearly and persuasively, you can charge businesses to write their emails, product pages, or social captions. This is the natural home of the communicator, because writing that sells is really just persuasion in text form. But the creative student will also shine here, because standing out in a sea of boring business writing takes original thinking. The fifth service is local deal-making. This one surprises people because it's not a technical skill at all. It involves connecting local businesses with opportunities, sponsorships, collaborations, cross-promotions with other local brands, or partnerships with student influencers on your own campus. Businesses will happily pay you a commission or a flat fee when you bring them something valuable, because you are directly making them money by opening doors they didn't know existed. This is perfect for the communicator, who is naturally persuasive and comfortable reaching out to people, but the organizer also plays a huge role here, since juggling multiple conversations and follow-ups requires real structure. I know this might look like just another list of side hustles, but don't think of it that way. Think of each one as a vehicle, and the destination for every single one of them is the same: $10,000 a month. As long as the service you choose follows the 3 golden rules and matches your natural talent, the exact one you pick matters far less than most people think. What matters most is picking one and actually committing to it, because in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to take whichever service you chose and turn it into real, consistent income while you're still attending classes. The biggest lie students are told is that learning always has to come before earning. For 18+ years, you sit in classrooms absorbing information you rarely get to apply in the real world. But if you actually want to hit $10,000 a month while you're still a student, you need to learn and earn at the exact same time. I call this the student skill loop, and it works in 5 repeating steps. Step 1 is define. Whatever service you picked from the list, strip it down to the simplest, most basic version of itself. Don't try to become a full-service creative agency on day 1. If you chose content editing, your service today isn't build a media empire, it's simply I edit short videos for local businesses. Reducing your offer down to 1 clear sentence makes it far easier to actually go out and sell it. Step 2 is sell. Not learn more, not perfect your website, not wait until you feel ready. Sell. This is where almost every student gets stuck, because they convince themselves they need more knowledge before they're allowed to charge money. The truth is the opposite. Go out, message local businesses, offer your simplified service, and expect most of them to say no. That's completely normal. You only need 1 yes to get started, and every single rejection along the way teaches you something about how to pitch better next time. Step 3 is deliver. This is where you actually get paid, and more importantly, where where you actually, and more importantly, where you actually get good. You can practice a skill alone for months and still not understand what truly matters until a real paying client is depending on you. Real feedback from a real client, even when it stings a little, teaches you faster than any course or tutorial ever could. Step 4 is fix. Once you've delivered your service a few times, patterns start to appear. You'll notice which parts are taking too long, which parts clients complain about, and which parts you personally enjoy the most. With AI tools now available to every student for free or close to free, this is the stage where you use them to remove the repetitive bottlenecks in your own workflow so you can serve more clients in less time. Step 5 is systemize. Everything up until now has been a little messy, and that's completely fine, because that's how it's supposed to be at first. But if you stay messy forever, deadlines start slipping, messages get lost, and clients stop coming back. The thing that actually makes a student stand out isn't raw talent, it's reliability. Simple habits like sending a clear invoice, replying to messages on time, and keeping a basic record of who owes you what will put you ahead of the vast majority of freelancers your age. This is called a loop for a reason, because you don't go through it once and stop. Every time you cycle through these 5 steps, you come out slightly better than before. You define your service more clearly, you sell with more confidence, you deliver at a higher standard, you fix bigger bottlenecks, and your systems run smoother. Each time around the loop, your service becomes more valuable, and that's exactly what pushes a student from a few $100s a month toward $10,000 and beyond. Let me show you what this actually looks like with a simple, realistic example. Imagine a second-year student who picks content editing as her service. In her first month, she defines her offer as, "I edit short-form videos for local cafes and small shops." She messages 20 business accounts on Instagram and gets 19 no's and 1 maybe. That 1 maybe turns into her first paying client, a small clothing store willing to pay a modest fee for 3 edited reels a week. She delivers, and honestly, her first few edits aren't great. But the store owner gives her direct feedback about pacing and captions, feedback she never would have gotten from a tutorial. By month 2, she's noticed that finding trending audio is taking up almost half her editing time. So she fixes that bottleneck using a simple AI-based trend tool, cutting her editing time nearly in half. By month 3, she systemizes the whole process, using a shared folder for raw footage, a simple invoice template, and a fixed weekly deadline she never misses. Because she's reliable and fast, the store owner refers her to 2 more shop owners in the same local business community. By month 5 or 6, she isn't managing 1 client anymore. She's managing 5 or 6, each paying a fair recurring fee, and suddenly a full-time income, while still being a full-time student, isn't a hypothetical, it's just her normal month. Nothing about this required special talent she didn't already have. It required going through the loop enough times without quitting after the first wave of no's. Here's something that might be hard to accept. 2 students can offer the exact same service, to the exact same standard, and one of them will earn 10 times more than the other. That shouldn't make sense if you assume you get paid purely based on how good your work is. But that's not actually how pricing works in the real world. You get paid based on how you position your value, not just the value itself. Let's look at how this plays out. A student offering content editing might describe themselves as, "I edit videos." It's honest, but it sounds like a commodity, and commodities compete purely on price. A student thinking like a young entrepreneur instead says, "I turn your raw footage into content that grows your following and brings in more customers." Same exact skill set. Same exact hours of work, but now you sound like an investment instead of an expense. A student offering AI admin support might say, "I can set up a chatbot for your business." It's accurate, but it sounds like a small technical favor. Positioned properly, it becomes, "I remove the repetitive admin work that's costing you hours every week, so you can focus on growing your business." Now you're not selling a feature, you're selling saved time and saved money, which is exactly what businesses actually pay for. And a student offering local deal-making might describe themselves as, "I connect brands with people." Positioned properly, it becomes, "I bring you partnerships and opportunities that directly increase your revenue, without you having to search for them yourself." The skill hasn't changed at all. The story around the skill has changed completely, and that story is what allows a student to charge a few $100s for something a differently positioned student is charging a few $1,000s for. Now here's the part most students never get told, and it's the part that determines whether you plateau at $10,000 a month or keep climbing past it. Reaching your first $10,000 a month is one challenge. reaching $20,000, $50,000, or beyond, is a completely different one. And the gap between the two almost always comes down to something I call personal brand building. This is the process of becoming visible enough and recognizable enough that people see you as the go-to name in your specific lane, rather than just another student offering a service. In fact, some of the wealthiest young entrepreneurs today built their reputation long before they had any real audience size, simply because they were consistent and clear about who they were and what they did. The single easiest thing you can do this week is clean up your own social profiles. Make it instantly obvious what you offer, who you help, and why someone should choose you over anyone else offering something similar. Most students do the exact opposite. They spend all their energy sending cold messages to hundreds of businesses while their own profile looks empty, unclear, or unfinished. And that's exactly why so many of those messages get ignored completely. When someone clicks on your profile after receiving your message and instantly understands what you do and why you're credible, you stop being just another message in their inbox. A simple way to start is to post one short piece of content a week, showing a small win, a before and after edit, a result from an automation you built, or even just a lesson you learned from a client interaction. You don't need to go viral, you just need consistency, because over time, that consistency is what turns a stranger scrolling past your profile into a business owner who already trusts you before you've said a single word to them. Combine a clear personal brand with the skill loop and the positioning we just covered, and that combination is genuinely how a student goes from their first $10,000 month to consistently scaling well beyond it, all while still attending classes, still living at home or in a dorm, and still years away from graduating. Before we wrap this up, I want to cover the 3 biggest mistakes I see students make when they try to do exactly what we've talked about, because avoiding these alone will put you ahead of almost everyone else attempting the same thing. The first mistake is waiting for confidence before taking action. Most students believe confidence has to come first, and then they'll be ready to sell. In reality, confidence is built by doing the thing badly a few times, not by waiting until you feel ready. The student who sends the first awkward pitch message today will always be ahead of the student who's still preparing 6 months from now. The second mistake is undercharging out of fear. A lot of students, especially when they're just starting out, price their service so low that it barely covers their time, because they're scared of hearing, "That's too expensive." But remember what we covered on positioning. If you're only ever talking about what you do instead of what it does for the business, you will always feel pressure to lower your price. Fix the positioning, and the pricing conversation becomes far easier. The third mistake is chasing every opportunity at once. Some students hear all 5 services we covered and try to offer all of them simultaneously, thinking more options means more chances of a yes. In practice, this makes you look unclear and unfocused to any business you approach. Pick the one service that matches your natural talent, get good at explaining it in one sentence, and let that focus do the work for you. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. You do not need to wait until you have a degree, a real job, or years of experience to start building serious income. You need a service that matches your natural talent, a willingness to sell before you feel ready, a system to keep improving every time you deliver, positioning that reflects your real value, and a personal brand that makes people trust you before you even speak to them. Every student watching this has at least one talent that fits somewhere on that tree we covered earlier. The only real difference between a student stuck waiting for graduation and a student already making $10,000 a month is that one of them decided to start this loop today, and the other is still waiting for permission that's never going to come. If you want to go deeper into exactly how to pick your first client, price your first offer, and avoid the biggest mistakes students make in their first 90 days, make sure to subscribe